Risk of loss, FOB, free on board. Okay, this only applies to UCC sale of goods. UCC sale of goods. Okay, destination contracts and shipment contracts. Under a destination contract, the seller has to deliver the goods to a specific location. Under a destination contract, also called a shipment contract, the seller bears the risk of loss until the goods get to that location. FOB, wherever. FOB, buyer's place of business. FOB, buyer's loading dock. FOB, the trucking company. Under a shipment contract or a destination contract, the seller has to deliver goods where? To the specific location. And the seller bears the risk of loss until when? The goods are delivered to that location. A destination contract is normally when the goods are going to be delivered to the buyer's place of business. The seller bears the risk of loss until they are delivered to that location. Contrast to a shipment contract. And this is when the seller is bound to ship by a common carrier. And the seller bears the risk of loss until when? Those goods get to the carrier, UPS. Once the carrier takes possession of the goods, the risk of loss passes to who? The buyer. Okay, destination contracts, what are they? The seller has to deliver the goods to a specific location. Who bears the risk of loss? The seller, until the goods are delivered to that location. When they get to that location, wherever that is, the risk of loss passes to the buyer. A shipment contract covers, that's right, shipment by a common carrier. And who bears the risk of loss? The seller, until when? The goods are delivered to the carrier. Once the carrier does what? Takes possession. The risk of loss passes to the buyer. So the important difference here is common carrier. Once the goods get to the common carrier and the carrier takes possession, that risk of loss goes to the buyer. If the seller has to deliver goods to somewhere specific, they bear the risk of loss until the goods get to that specific location. Under a shipment contract, once the carrier takes possession, the risk of loss passes to the buyer. Okay, under the common law, remember destruction of goods. This is common law and UCC. What happens when the goods are totally destroyed? The contract is avoidable. If the contract is voidable, destruction of goods voids a contract. For example, the contractor is contracting to repair a barn. This would be a service contract, and the barn's destroyed by arson. Okay, contract can be avoided. Contractor is discharged from his duty. Goods and personal property. Under the UCC, the destruction of goods, the contract can be avoided. Usually this is act of God, not a fault thing. And of course, personal property destroyed through no fault excuses performance. And that's it for risk of loss.